Hello and a very good evening. In this live broadcast, we will show you certain videos. The videos could be distressful. The videos could disturb you. The videos could also shock you. Viewers' discretion is highly solicited. We begin with a video that will not shock you, that will not distress you, that will not put you in any kind of a dilemma. Seriously speaking, when you watch this video, which you are showing parallelly to my screen, you see a 23-year-old man. His name is Rakshit Chaurasia. You see a 23-year-old man who in folded hands is kind of seeking forgiveness. He's holding his ears, trying to give out the message that he is sorry. He barely can walk. Are your hearts breaking down watching this video? Do you feel the pain of this 23-year-old man? Am I supposed to start the show by sympathizing with Rakshit Chaurasia, one who is accused of killing a woman under a state probably he best knows, while driving a vehicle in Vadodara late on Thursday night? Am I supposed to sympathize with this man? Because it seems like this is part of a larger script. And the script suggests that this video will evoke the emotion in people that would feel the pain of a 23-year-old helpless man. I don't understand why else somebody would hold his ears and go at the crime scene for reconstruction of crime. Are we supposed to believe that great injustice is being done to a 23-year-old man? बहुत गलत हो रहा है उसके साथ. ये समझना चाहिए, ये महसूस करना चाहिए हमें. Is that what we are supposed to feel? I don't know about others, but I certainly can't feel that. Because moving out from this video, now let's move on to the video which is the talk of the entire nation. Yes, this video would disturb you. This video would actually shame one and all. A video which has shocked the conscience of an entire country and has only compelled us to question the accountability of the system. The video of that moment, the moment of accident, the video of soon after the accident, as it unfolded on Thursday night or probably in the wee hours of Friday morning. Let's play out the sequence of events that unfolded in the street of Vadodara in Gujarat just a couple of hours back. Do you see that CCTV video? This is the moment of crash. This is the moment of the crash. A speeding vehicle literally mowed down a family on a scooter. And that wasn't the only vehicle that was crushed by the speeding vehicle. At least 3 such scooties were crashed, were literally trampled, rammed by a speeding vehicle. A vehicle that was driven by Rakshit Chaurasia. Which man in absences would do this? Which man would ever do such an act of absolute inhumanity? But the story doesn't end there. Probably the story begins from here. Soon after this, the brazenness of a man without any remorse came to the forefront. Let's play out the sequence as it unfolded after the accident. And at least, let's understand every gesture of this man, Rakshit Chaurasia. Well, you see that this is how Rakshit Chaurasia was literally caught by the locals. Rakshit Chaurasia, soon after the accident, was caught by the locals because he had shown absolute brazenness. Absolute brazenness. No remorse whatsoever. He did not apologize. He did not say sorry. He did not care to look as whether people he has crushed are alive or not. Instead, this is what he did. Please play this full frame.
उधर करो उधर मेरा कुछ नहीं है वो चला रहा है
Another round! Another round! Another round! Another round! Another round! क्या हुआ? Another round! निकिता! निकिता मेरी अंकल! अंकल! ओम नमः शिवाय! ओम नमः शिवाय! प्लीज जो 3 जन मर गए तेरी वजह से
पकड़ी रखो
बेचारी खोखरी साफ થઈ ગઈ बेचारी खोखरी આ લોકો કેવું ચલાવે છે કોઈ જાનો ટીવી ગાડીઓ ચલાવે છે તો હજે નહીં પડતી જો છે બસ હટો तुम यार हटो मोड़ू ले तू हटो पागल है साला उधर करो उधर मेरा कुछ नहीं है वो चला रहा है Another round! Another round! Another round! Another round! Another round! क्या हुआ? Another round! निकिता! निकिता मेरी अंकल! अंकल! ओम नमः शिवाय! ओम नमः शिवाय! ओम नमः शिवाय प्लीज जो 3 जन मर गए तेरी वजह से
पकड़ी रखो
Which person in head would do what he has done? A. You kill people. B. You get out of the car and then you say, one more round, one more round. Then you say, Nikita, Nikita. And then you say, Om Namah. Take out the Rudraksh from your neck and put it out in display. Which person with any sanity left in him would do this? That's exactly what Rakshit Chaurasia did. The man, the face of every thumbnail, of every story, the man who is talked about because of this video which has gone viral on every social media platform, that same man did not apologize for once soon after the accident. Now, the germ of suspicion comes from a different aspect altogether. And here's what I haven't seen ever in my life. Rakshit, the accused, arrested by police. He was assaulted by this. He was rescued and arrested by police. In police custody, produced before court, taken to hospital, and police also ensured that Rakshit is given fair opportunity to speak to media. Rakshit was allowed to speak here. When is the last time you have seen an accused given absolute opportunity to speak to media? He gave sound bites, interviews, not to one agency or a channel, to many. Agency got that was given to every news channel. Every news channel ran his soundbite. Then he has also given exclusive interviews to news channels and more news channels. And all along, you would find Rakshit standing and giving the same scripted. Here's when he started apologizing to the media and to the bereaved family. Here's when he has given an absolute new twist to the story. Look here, one after the other. He has first spoken to ANI, then to Z, once ANI, which is a news agency. You know, they supplied that soundbite to every media organization, whoever has their subscription, and everybody ran that soundbite. Hearing this soundbite, Rakshit has claimed that he was not drunk, that the car was not speeding above 50 kilometers per hour. Here's what he has said in his media interaction. Listen to him carefully, because the story lies in this very soundbite.
सर मैं सुरेश के घर से अपने घर वापस आ रहा था, मेरे फ्रेंड की गाड़ी थी।
क्या हुआ था?
सर वो आ रहे थे, एक स्कूटी थी, स्कूटी से हल्का सा टच हुआ, एयरबैग तुरंत ही खुल जाता है क्योंकि वो उसकी न्यू गाड़ी है एकदम, तो उसका सेंसर ऐसा है कि हल्का सा भी छुएगा एयरबैग खुल जाता है। एयरबैग खुल गया, फिर आगे कुछ दिखा नहीं और डिग्रेड हो गई गाड़ी। मुझे पता ही नहीं है क्या हुआ है गाड़ी को। उसके बाद क्योंकि सीधे पुलिस वाले इधर ले आए थे, वहाँ पर लड़ाई हो गई थी, वहाँ पर ये सब जो दिख रहा है वो लड़ाई की वजह से हुआ। वहाँ से हम लोग फिर वापस आ गए इधर ही। सर मैंने इसलिए मैं ये सब बोलूँ कि ताकि लोग दूर भागे थोड़ा।
तो क्या
रक्षित बोल रहा था, ओम नमः शिवाय बोल रहा था मैं। ऑटोमेटिक गाड़ी भी चला जाऊँ, लेकिन उसका स्पोर्ट्स मोड मेरे से नहीं हो पाया। सर ये सब अब सिर्फ बहाना है और कुछ नहीं हो सकता। मेन जिनकी लाइफ गई मुझे वो बहुत मैटर करता है, बहुत ज़्यादा मुझे बुरा लगा। 60 आराम से। सर मैं पहले सबसे पहले उनकी फैमिली से भी तुरंत तत्काल प्रभाव से मिलना चाहूँगा जिनकी डेथ हुई है। मैं भाई सुरेश के घर से निकला था, अपने घर जा रहा था, गदेड़ा सर्कल से निकला था, निज़ामपुरा जा रहा था।
अच्छा, वहाँ क्या करने गए थे? वहाँ
यहाँ अपने फ्रेंड को ड्रॉप करने गए थे हम लोग, होली का दहन देखने गए थे।
किसका घर है?
ये एक फ्रेंड का घर है।
You heard him? You heard what he said? And put your hand on your heart and say you want to believe him? When he juxtaposed different situations involving the same man, in one when he has shown absolute aggression, one more time, as if killing people was like a trophy that he has just won, and he was desiring for one more trophy, one more round, one victory, one more killing. That same man, in a media statement which almost sounded the same scripted story, and a paradigm shift from that aggression to suddenly be humble and show a lot of humility, say that nothing matters, I would apologize to the family, let the bereaved family decide. So he expects the bereaved family tomorrow, if decides not to lodge a case against him, he will be absolved of his responsibility. That's what he's expecting. He gave a soundbite, and the soundbite stayed almost the same in different interviews. And look at his body language this time. He's calmly giving interviews. Media men asking him questions, and he's calmly responding to them. Because now he was in his senses. He knew which one to respond to and what to respond. Because the script was handed over to him, for sure. And why do I call it consciously a script? Because when you listen to him carefully, the car was not speeding. If you see the CCTV camera and you can see the car moving at a certain speed, you, even without any knowledge of physics, would know that car was not in a normal speed. 50 is a normal speed in an empty road. But the fact that it does not look a normal situation is purely because the way it is crossing one signal and the other. It barely takes a couple of seconds. And that gives you an affirmation that the car was definitely not at 50 kilometers per hour and the speed could be much, much, much more. Rakshit said that the car had fallen into a pothole, had barely brushed with another vehicle, and that's how the airbags had come off. The airbags were deployed, they were triggered, and once the airbags came in front of him, he could not see. And then he said, car was moving on its own and then got derailed. Let's debunk this story. Let's put out the discrepancies that we find in his own statement before we go back to his own statement. Let's debunk this theory that he's trying to propagate and let's highlight the differences. Discrepancy number 1, he says the car was at 50 kilometers per hour, right? But eyewitnesses say that the speed of the car was nothing less than 100 to 120 kilometers per hour. The eyewitnesses who had seen the accident, who caught this man, they had seen the car moving at a certain speed and they were certain that it was certainly not 50 kilometers per hour. And there are different ways of deriving the cars. For example, you can actually do certain tests, for example a crash test, the tire marks, the vehicle damage that has happened, the scene analysis, and you also have crash data loggers in several vehicles and they give you a clear scientific number. Sure, police would be investigating on these angles, but when he says the car was moving at 50 kilometers per hour, it is certainly unbelievable because the impact of the accident tells a different story altogether. Discrepancy number 2, he says that the airbags because the car had hit a pothole and he couldn't see after that. Do you believe that? If that is the case, every second car on the streets of Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, or for that matter Vadodara will have the airbags come up by a fraction of a small brushing with another vehicle. We all have busy traffic. Brushing happens almost on an everyday basis. So by mere brushing with another vehicle, forget collision, if brushing with another vehicle, which can lead to a small dead body of the car, if the airbags would come out, then the story is over. Every car would have their airbags inflated every now and then with the drop of a hat. And the airbags are essentially only deployed in high impact collision. 50 kilometers per hour will not ensure, rather I would say will not ensure an high impact collision unless you're deliberately hitting the car at 50 kilometers per hour with a wall, with a concrete wall. Before we move on to the other discrepancies, I want to quickly give you a sense. The car that he was driving is VW, Volkswagen Virtus. It's a new car. That car has got 6 airbags. 2 airbags had inflated. Alright? 2 airbags had inflated, not all 6. Which means it was only a front collision and the collision was with a subject which was ahead of the car. We have tried accessing VW's, that is Volkswagen's own brochure, where they can give us a sense as how the airbags operate. And if you see this, VW says that the airbag system is designed so that airbags are triggered in a severe collision. Please understand the word severe. In certain types of accident, the front, the curtain and side bags may be triggered together. The extent of visible vehicle damage does not indicate whether the airbags should have been triggered. Airbags only serve as a supplement to the 3-point belt. the seat belts are always there to provide protection in situations, and also your airbags will not inflate if the seat belts are not on. So the seat belts, they were wearing the seat belts, and the airbags had only come out after the impact of the collision was massive, was severe. Let's move to page number 21, and in 21 page number, in page number 22, sorry, VW is answering the frequently asked question, why don't airbags deploy in low speed accidents? What is saying? If an airbag deploys in a low speed impact, its effectiveness in a subsequent severe collision will be lost. Do you now understand why airbags do not come out with a drop of a hat? Say suppose you brush with another car, the airbags come out, you have to put the airbags back into this place, you have to send the car to the mechanic, but God forbid, even after that, if you try and move your vehicle and there happens a much more severe accident before even you could reach to your mechanic, since the airbags are already out, the chances of severe impact on the human body or the human driver driving the car would be much more, because then you won't have the airbags anymore. So when Rakshit says that it was nothing, the car fell on a pothole and then brushed with another car, it was not a major accident, and then suddenly the airbags came out, the story doesn't add up. So whoever has written the script for him should have done little more research, scientific research, before handing out the script to him. Because airbags cannot come out when your vehicle is merely brushing by another vehicle. Do you realize if the airbags have come off accidentally, VW as a company can be sued, can be taken to court? They want to go that way? They can if they are innocent. In that case, VW will do their own research on this vehicle and give out a statement, maybe court, as whether the vehicle was at fault or not. Let's move on to discrepancy number 3. Discrepancy number 3, he said that the airbags had inflated and thus he couldn't see anything. He couldn't see anything in front of him. But he also said that the car was moving on its own and it got derailed. Firstly, it's a car and not a train which was on a track and then got derailed, like what happened in Balasore. So it is not a train and a car, it cannot go on its own and there is no scope of derailment. And he also said that पता ही नहीं ये 5-6 लोग कहाँ से, वो तो थे नहीं, मुझे तो कुछ दिखाई नहीं, वो लोग तो थे नहीं, मुझे मालूम नहीं कैसे एक्सीडेंट हो गया. That's exactly what he said. Imagine a line right before that, he's saying that because of the airbags he couldn't see, but उनकी दिव्य दृष्टि इतनी अच्छी है that he could see there were not 4-5 people. Sorry, I'm not trivializing this. I'm debunking his lies. When he says that he's drunk, when he says he was not drunk, okay, fine, you were not drunk, then what sort of a behavior was that? That psychotic behavior can only indicate a psychiatric behavior, and that's not normal. You only do that when you are probably suffering from certain mental issues, or you could be under the influence of some substance or alcohol. Now, in order to confirm as whether he had alcohol or not, only police can do that. The same police who had allowed him to speak to media, the job essentially lies in the hands of police now. Because police have sent his blood samples. His blood sample test would confirm whether he was under the influence of alcohol or not. When we tried connecting with some of the sources within the Gujarat police, we were confirmed that in rapid test, the drug analysis came positive. When I'm saying this on camera, I'm certain about what I have learned from my sources. Test, the drug analysis test came positive. But then it was a rapid test. Rapid test is not accepted before the court. So the court would only go by the blood sample report. The blood sample report is the only certification, either give him a clean sheet or could nail his lies. I'm sorry, but because an accused was given this opportunity, not once, but multiple times, to speak to media, like it or not, there is always an element of doubt if this is a fair play or if this would happen to be a fair play. Because it seemed like the attention was given to the accused, not to the victim. And why do I say this? I say this very consciously. In the past 24 hours, almost, past 24 hours and more, go to Google, write Rakshit Chaurasia's name, write Vadodara accident and see the prompts. Go on YouTube, write Vadodara accident and write Rakshit's name and see the prompts. Every media house, and I'm talking about the legacy media, the mainstream media, they have done this story, also relied heavily on Rakshit's statement, where he has denied that he was not drunk. Every such media house, most of them, had a headline, "I was not drunk," quote unquote. Vadodara accident accused denies being drunk. That's the headline. So it seems like quite deliberately and meticulously sympathy is being generated for the accused while completely sidelining the victim. You go on Google, write Vadodara accident and find me one report on the deceased woman. Find me one report on the family of the deceased woman. You know who she is? Hemal Patel. You know how old she is? 40 years old. You know what she was doing that night? Out on the street, she was with a husband and little child. You know why as a family they had gone out? They had gone out to buy the colors of Holi festival. She had gone out with the child to buy colors to the daughter. What has happened to the husband and the child? They are both battling for their lives. Apart from them, there are 5 more people who are seriously injured and the woman is gone. I'm surprised there are barely any reports on the victim and the victim's family. I'm up to see that you have so many interviews of an accused, and thus I say, is this part of a larger design to kind of sympathize with the accused and not with the victim? And there lies larger concern. If accountability of the system has to be questioned and need to be questioned. Well, Rakshit Chaurasia, he was produced before the court today and he has been sent to police custody till Monday, that is March 17. And as part of the remand note, police had forwarded a video, probably the same that is there in public domain. But as we play this video now, please tell me, why would a man cry, hold his tummy, hold his ears and behave as if he is sorry or seeking forgiveness? Instead of admitting his fault or standing up to the truth, he's trying to give out gestures. And he would say, these gestures are nothing but an attempt to score sympathy from people. The video have gone viral, social media is abuzz, and there is a lot of scrutiny happening of Rakshit Chaurasia. Who is he? Where does he come from? Well, he's a businessman's son, comes from a well-to-do family in Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh. This is Gujarat, that is Uttar Pradesh. So he's there from Varanasi, a law student studying in Vadodara. Probably he understands the law pretty well. The law would only go by black and white. So for the time being, let's inject something grey to the media and let's form an opinion. Is this a deliberate attempt to kind of form a narrative? We had tried reaching out to the victims. These are two testimonies of two victims who spoke about the ordeal as what happened, what they saw, and what essentially they feel could have been the speed of the car. Listen in.
जई रहा था फतेहगंज तरफ, तो आम्रपाली तरफ हमें जोड़े गाड़ी चलावता था, रास्ता एकदम क्लियर હતો તો એકદમથી પાછળ ગાડી આ રહ્યો 120ની ઉપર સ્પીડ હતી, એમને ઠોક્યો અમને. પછી અમે બધા રસ્તા પર એક અહીં એક ત્યાં, તો મેં જોયું મને ફ્રેક્ચર થઈ ગયું છે, ભાઈ ત્યાં પડ્યો છે, બેન ત્યાં પડી છે, એમને પણ ફ્રેક્ચર આવ્યો છે. પછી મેં ઉઠી નતો શકતો, મેં જોયું મને ફ્રેક્ચર આવી ગયો છે, તો બધા એમ્બ્યુલન્સ મંગાવી ફટાફટ અને હોસ્પિટલ લઈ ગયા. અમે સંગમથી ઘરે જઈ રહ્યા હતા ફતેહગંજ તરફ, તો આમ્રપાલી તરફ.
હું ફતેહગંજ વિસ્તાર ખાતે રહું છું અને અમે લોકો ફાલુદો ખાવા ગયા હતા, અમે બધા સોસાયટીવાળા અને મારા કઝિન, મારા ભાઈ બહેન. તો અમે લોકો સંગમથી રિટર્ન થઈ રહ્યા હતા ફતેહગંજ સાઈડ, તો એ ભાઈએ અમને, અમે ટુ વ્હીલર પર હતા અને એ ભાઈએ અમને પાછળથી અડફેટે લીધા છે. અમે ટોટલ 5 જણ હતા ને એવું સાંભળવામાં આવે છે કે બીજા બી 2-3 લોકોને કે જે બી છે એ લોકોએ બી ઇજાગ્રસ્ત થયા છે ને એ લોકોને બી એક્સિડન્ટ ફેસ કરવું પડ્યું છે. એ ગાડી મારા હિસાબે 100 to 120ની પ્લસ સ્પીડમાં છે, કેમ કે આપણે જે હિસાબે એમાં ડેમેજ જોઈ રહ્યા છે એ ગાડીમાં સેફ્ટી રેટિંગ ઘણી સારી આવે છે, તો એ હિસાબે જેટલું એના અમાઉન્ટ ઓફ ડેમેજ છે તો એ બહુ હાઈ સ્પીડમાં ચલાવી રહ્યો હતો. કાર ચાલક બિલકુલ નશાની હાલતમાં હતો, એને કંઈ ખબર જ નથી પડી રહી કે એને શું કર્યું છે. એ તો જ્યારે કારમાંથી ઉતર્યો એ બહુ પ્રાઉડ ફીલ કરી રહ્યો હતો, બહુ એન્જોયમેન્ટમાં હતો, એને તો ખબર જ નથી પડતી કે એણે કેટલું બધું ડેમેજ પહોંચાડ્યો છે લોકોને અને બધાને, ગાડીઓને બધું.
The question that you all must ask, will the system be strong enough to stand up against any and every manipulation for the sake of truth, for a woman who is no more, to in a way debunk every lie which are peddled? Which accused, and when is the last time you have seen an accused admit his or her fault? Here, the accused was expected to deny all the charges. The question is, how come he was allowed to give out statement, given an opportunity so that he can deny those charges before media? And you know, people are not expected to speak to media or hold press conference when in police custody, because the safety and security of the accused is equally of the police. And for police to trust media people, come this close to Rakshit, also tells you a different story. Tells you a story of confidence that police had on all those media people. I mean, how come you can have confidence on strangers? Media people are not police force. And you are allowing this man to be there physically in front of media people. What if somebody had harmed this man? Haven't you seen Dish in Uttar Pradesh in police custody? We have seen that. And thus it is always the responsibility of the police to ensure the safety of the accused when they are there in their custody. And here in this custody of police, accused Rakshit Chaurasia was allowed to speak to media, not once or accidentally, but multiple times. And thus we question, is there a design in play which can make us fear everything would eventually be fair in this investigation and if the truth would come out? Well, talking about truth, just a couple of days back we had seen a drunk brat in Pune had simply not peed on road, but had also flashed his pride as a mark of audacity. As if I own a BMW, I can do whatever I want. Have you forgotten the posh accident of Pune? The juvenile who had consumed liquor worth 40,000 and more, who killed people, was eventually allowed bail on condition you have to write a 300-word essay on road safety. Is this where we are trying to reduce ourselves to? Well, not sure about others, but we cannot sympathize with the accused. Our sympathies would always be with the victim. Yes, the court is there to decide whether the accused is guilty or not. But because we are not above the court or the law, we thus cannot accept these media statements as gospel truth, and we would wait for court to decide whether Rakshit Chaurasia is guilty or not. And court can only come to a conclusive decision basis of the evidences put forth before the law. And who would find the evidences? The same Vadodara police, Gujarat police, one who had allowed him to speak to media. For now, we are keeping our fingers crossed with the promise we would be watching out every move of the story very closely. Thank you so much. Good night.